Welcome to today's episode. I have with me the one and only Rachel Pederson, and I am so excited to have her with us today. Rachel, do you want to do like a quick intro and tell my audience who you are in case they haven't heard me talk about you a million times already?
For sure. My name is Rachel Pederson. I'm a social media strategist, Minnesota mom of three. I am obsessed with organic social media, specifically TikTok, but I love all organic social. And that's about it. That's all I got. That's who I am.
She's also we call her the queen of social media. So I'm going to throw that in. And all the other things that I said about you before you came on. So thank you so much for coming in to share with my audience today. And I really want to talk to you because it's something I've never really asked you about. I know we talk about it in the mastermind I'm in with you. But let's talk about visibility, because we got to admit, like, you are very visible. You are on video all the time. I found you from a webinar. I always call my videos like that baby Chrissy. So I'm going to call that baby Rachel because I found you from this webinar on how to create a website using ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Oh gosh, that was what, 5 years ago?
A long time.
Yeah. I look back at those videos and I do see a baby Rachel. I mean, you know how you have like awkward teeth when you're like a teenager and they're coming in? So I was with my old teeth and I'm like, oh, she's just this little baby. I love that baby Chrissy.
So how has visibility and video helped you grow your business?
Oh my gosh. Can I first share what happened when I wasn't as visible?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Beautiful. Because in case anyone's like listening or watching and you've been watching Chrissy for a while and you're stressed because you're not getting visible, I'm just going to share how that can show up first. Because for years, I would kind of market myself a little here and there, but it was more about marketing myself and not focused on visibility, not focused on reaching people. And that's all good and fine until it's not good and fine all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So it was about 3 years ago when our Facebook ad account got disabled and we had to become resourceful and go back to the basics of being visible and using organic content to keep our business growing, especially with an ever-growing bankroll, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what was really interesting was suddenly our leads dried up, word of mouth stopped. We just weren't getting the leads that we had gotten previously, thanks to word of mouth, referrals, luck, right time, right place, etc. And so suddenly I panicked and I was like, we've got to figure something out. And so my then mentor actually said, you need to get on social in a big way now. Like, people have called you the queen of social media, but I don't see you giving value on social every day. And I was like, oh, shoot. And it kind of shifted absolutely everything. Now, it's interesting. This is hard to do. I was just thinking the other day about the difference between getting an oil change on your car and having to pay for a blown gasket when you don't get an oil change. So an oil change is what? How much is it? Like less than $30, right?
Yeah.
Maybe less than
40. If you do the, the upgraded, it's like probably 50 or 60, but yeah,
okay.
Something like that.
So less than $100 for an oil change, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most of us get oil changes because we don't want the engine to overheat or a blown gasket.
Yeah.
Because a blown gasket's going to cost you $1,000 or $2,000 immediately, not including the overheated engine and all the problems that happen after that.
Yeah.
And the truth is, visibility is like getting an oil change. It needs to become a part of your foundation.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not a nice to have, it's a don't miss kind of thing.
Yes.
So we shifted absolutely everything during that season from a have to place. And that absolutely transformed everything. And I realized that everything from marketing to serving people to anything you want to do, fundraising, profit sharing, anything that you want to launch or share or help people with, it is easier once you have visibility in place.
I love that. So the other question, how has it changed your business?
Oh my gosh, my business is absolutely transformed. Now, one thing I want to say, even though I know, so if you guys have followed Chrissy, you know, she doesn't say just get visible to market your business. She's not saying just get visible to sell people stuff. She talks about serving and showing up and challenging yourself. Chrissy is probably like the queen of challenging herself. Seriously. It's about practicing using your voice. It's about being able to reach people, building a platform so that when it's time, you can actually create change. so the big shift that we did, and I've seen Chrissy, she's done this very, very, very well, is we shifted from the mentality of just marketing our business or just selling to serving on video, being visible on video, giving value on video. And that was absolutely a complete change. Our business has become more profitable, more fun, more enjoyable. There's less resistance. We've attracted really great people and repelled the ones who say, you know, Rachel, I've seen enough of your videos. I can't stand your face or your voice. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it has transformed absolutely everything and opened up opportunities to work with some of the biggest clients in the world, straight up.
I love that. And one of the things that I also love about you when you get on video is that I've seen you do like 5-day events. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I think you've been in Hawaii when you've done them. And sometimes you're literally sitting on the floor. You're so you. You're not like trying to put up this big, nice background with this great camera. You're literally just coming to them as you. And I think that vulnerability and that raw and realness, I think, is what people need, especially, you know, in our society today.
Yeah. I will say, so you've seen me in person and you know I sit on the floor as much as I can. Yes. Like it is the first place I go. And this is actually really funny timing because just the other day I got a long comment on YouTube about how much more successful I would be if I had a professional setup. And literally it's on and on and on. And someone said that like my clipboards and my backgrounds are cheese. I think it was cheese and cheap. And that's great. That's awesome. And I really actually would value that feedback if it came from someone with a bigger channel than mine. Yeah. And so that's an interesting thing. I would take that advice from other people, but I've actually connected with some of the coaches for the biggest YouTube channels in the world. And they've said the best performing content, the best visibility pieces are going to be the ones that are authentic to you. So if I'm all decked out looking like Barbie with a super fancy suite, people are going to say she's fake because that's not who I am. So that might be authentic for some people too. Yeah.
And I think sometimes an overproduced video turns people off. Yes. They're like, what are you trying to sell me? Immediately. Yes. Their guard goes up immediately. And I love, even on your podcast, I think you told us that, is it Lisbon? Is that who like contacted you? Didn't they reach out to you or something because you always like recorded your podcasts like just on your phone? Is that right?
Libsyn. There we go. Yes.
Okay. I don't know the name.
Yes, Libsyn. So Libsyn is like the biggest podcast host in the world, pretty much. Maybe minus like Apple Podcasts, but Libsyn pushes through to Apple. So for anyone listening, this is like just the techno babble behind the scenes. But Libsyn actually reached out and they were like, we want to talk to you about possibly teaching people how to do podcasts because we love that it's basically you on your phone. There's no limit to that entry. Like anyone can do it. And I do think that there's some truth there. And I know for me, when something's overly polished, a huge part of me is like, I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to consistently be that fancy and polished. So does this only work for super, super polished, fancy people? Yeah. Because if yes, it's not going to be me. I can't. I'm sorry.
Well, and I think sometimes when we're trying to make it fancy and polished and all that stuff, we lose the passion. Like we lose the messaging. We lose the confidence and the things that we want to say behind it because we're trying to be so perfect polished, even though we know that's not true. That can't happen. So
yes, I totally agree.
So you being visible has helped you do so many things. You've been on many stages, big stages. You've been on, I don't even know how many podcasts, and been given so many opportunities. But the most recent one, the most recent thing that visibility has helped you with is get a book deal, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Well, let's do it. I was like, where are we going? I'm ready. Okay. Now this is really interesting. And I want to share this because this is important just going to be honest about this. My book is going to be great. Mm-hmm. Is it the best book that's ever been written? Absolutely not. There are so many talented authors who don't get that kind of great book deal because they're missing visibility. So I just want to real fast share this because if anyone says, does Rachel think she's such a great writer that she deserves a book deal? Well, Not necessarily, but I know that we can serve a lot of people with a book. And so it's truly because of the platforms that we've built through visibility that this book deal came to be. Do you know the backstory of like how the book deal happened?
I've heard some things here and there, but let's share.
It's worth it. So I got a challenge from someone to write a book. It was actually Russell Brunson. He said, just write your book, please. Just write 500 words a day. It'll be done by I think it was then my 32nd birthday. So he's like, just write it, just start writing. And I was like, okay, I'm at the point where I'm done thinking I know better than people I respect. And I'm like, I'm just going to shut up and write my book. So I start writing, and I documented it a little bit on IG stories and TikTok, just every so often. I was like, I'll just start sharing the process. And that advice also came from Russell. He's like, just share the process. Just trust me on this. And about halfway through towards the end of my book, I got a message on Instagram from an executive at HarperCollins. And they said, Rachel, we heard first off,
yes.
Right. So she said, we heard you're writing a book and we would love to see it. And I was like, so excited.
No pressure.
Right. But I just want to point out something that's so key here. None of the stuff that I shared about writing my book was viral or even my most successful content. So you never know what one person is seeing what you're doing. Yeah. And I want to share that because a lot of people would think this stuff would have to go viral in order to possibly get a book deal. That's not necessarily the case. So I sent them what I had for the manuscript and boxed Russell and said, hey, question for you. Would you take this opportunity? And he said, I actually want to introduce you to Hay House instead. And probably not even 2 weeks later, I was on a Zoom call with Reed Tracy, the CEO of Hay House. Wild.
Yes. Yes. And I think the thing when you said the post didn't go viral, not only is that important to note, but also you never know who is watching. You never know who's watching.
I hope you guys are writing that down as Chrissy says it, because it is so true. Like, you don't know who is signing in for your lead magnet or signing in. Oh my gosh, I need coffee. Who is opting into your lead magnet? You don't know who is the one person listening to your podcast. I remember a story from Caleb Maddox from years ago, and he was talking about how he went live on Periscope and there was like 3 people watching. Well, one of them was friends with Grant Cardone and literally introduced him to Grant Cardone. So he only had 3 listeners at the time, and you never know who is paying attention.
So true. So true. That's so powerful. That's so powerful. So you ended up going with Hay House, right?
Yep.
Okay. And your book is coming out
September 20th of 2022. I am so excited.
When will we get the book? Oh, I'll see you right after that, I think.
I think we're going to host a meetup.
Okay.
Right after that.
I'm totally getting my book signed.
I'll sign it and write like special notes for special people, because that'll be really fun. So
fun. So fun.
Yes.
So if they want to pre-order the book, where can they find it?
So it is available in 2 places currently. So the book is called Unfiltered, and it's pretty obvious it's me the second you see it, because there is an unmissable photo as the cover of Unfiltered. You will instantly say, oh, that's what she meant. And so it is available on Amazon for pre-order, as well as at online, Barnes & Noble online. So both of those 2 places, it is available currently for pre-order.
And it's like Kindle, like a paperback, hardback, whatever. Like
I think we're just doing the hardcover first. Okay. So these things, I'm learning everything for the first time. So in book launching, traditional book launching specifically, everything starts as a hardcover. And then actually, I think there's a Kindle available right now. So I think it's Kindle and hardcover, and then it goes into Audible, and then it goes into paperback. So there's really like 3 rounds of like the options that are available, and I'm recording my own Audible in just a couple of weeks.
Thank you. I love, unless the author is not, there's some we just can't, cannot read. It's not as good, but like people like you, like thinking of Gary Vee, like people put like, emotion into it. Like
Yep.
that's the people I want to listen to. And I prefer to listen to the author almost always over.
Yeah, I guarantee you I will be laughing and crying as I go through the book, and going on tangents. And we're going to do a whole interview series with I'll share who it is once we confirm it, but we're doing an interview series and adding that to the Audible. So it's going to be really, really, really powerful.
I love that. What's his name did that in Jim Quick?
Limitless.
Yes.
Yes.
So the book, the Audible version is like 12 hours long because he has these little interviews after each chapter, and I love it. And
oh my gosh,
book too. So it's
me
so
too.
cool.
I love when you get the book in one format and then you get the Audible and you get different experiences with each one. Yes. Like I will buy a book in multiple formats if I get a different experience with each one. And I find that when the author reads it. So I was like, oh, I'm reading my own book for sure.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
I also feel like I retain it better when I read it and listen to it.
Ooh, I bet that's actually really true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. At the same time or separately?
So sometimes at the same time, but my car may be like 2 chapters ahead of me reading it, which is really weird, but I don't know. I just feels kind of good to be able to do both. So
yes, anchor it in audibly and visually.
So how much time do we have? Are we good?
We're still good.
Okay. All right. So can we talk a little bit about, do you feel like, and again, you don't have to answer this question, but do you feel like your visibility, your influence helped you get the name of the book that you wanted and the cover that you wanted?
Oh, you're going there. I love this. Okay. Yes, absolutely. Without a doubt. So I love working with Hay House, and I want to make sure that's super clear. The team has been dreamy and wonderful. And this was literally the company I wanted to publish through. That was my dream. That being said, reasonably, publishers want to be cautious with big, bold, controversial decisions. And with the cover of the book, I had this vision of me standing in a blazer with like my mom's stomach, unfiltered, unphotoshopped, unedited. That's key there. I wanted that to be the cover of the book because it showcases, like, you might feel like everything is together on top, just like we talked about before this interview, but you got comfy yoga pants or, biker shorts on the bottom with spills on it. And, sometimes we're juggling literally being multiple people at the same time, recognizing that we can be authentic to ourselves. And there is kind of, for lack of a better word, an underbelly to every business. And the cover displays that. But Hay House pushed back probably 3 or 4 times. They were like, we just don't think this is it, etc. And so to share this, so I decided to take the advice of every single great who says, get visible, build your platform, put content out there, exactly what Christy's been telling you. And so I put the photo on TikTok to showcase it, and it reached 8.1 million views. And in case anyone's like, yeah, but how much ad spend? Oh, I'm talking $300. That's it. It was almost 100% organic. And so that right there allowed me to be able to push back and say, listen, here's the deal. I promise that I'll be easy to work with, but not in this point. This is one I believe in with all my heart. And Hay House took that data into consideration. They recognized, we split tested, that it was polarizing, that some people were crying and some people were pissed, good and bad. But that cover was going to be easier for me to share because I really, truly believed in it. Yeah.
And so, I love that. And that's a part of visibility that I think sometimes people forget, is that they just want to show up and be likable by everyone.
Yes.
They don't want to try to do the polarizing thing. I mean, you made a bold statement, I don't know how many years ago, and started sharing this on TikTok, and you got a lot of pushback, but you kept doing it because you wanted other people to, number one, see that they weren't alone, but also you're literally blasting your imperfections to everybody. Like, you're showing people I'm real. Like, yes, I have, multi-million-dollar businesses and I've been very successful, but this is still me. And I think that helps reach people. And we sometimes forget that when I say get visible, right? They think, oh, I just show up, like I said, overproduced, all the perfection. No, show your imperfections. So important.
Absolutely. And know that people aren't always going to love it.
Mhm.
And that's okay. You don't have to try to be controversial to create a polarizing response. Just being yourself is going to naturally be controversial. Like just this morning, I haven't even shared this yet with anyone. Just this morning, I woke up to a live stream video that I was tagged in by one of my Facebook friends, and it is just mocking me and tearing me apart. And the reason I share that and showcasing perfect abs to remind me that I don't have my priorities straight. And it was just wild, but I remembered, ooh, this is a good sign because this reminds me of someone that I've never spent time with creates this level of a visceral emotion about my book cover.
Yeah.
That means it's that much more important and needed. And so just remember, just being yourself is going to be controversial. And that also fuels growth and finding the people who absolutely love you.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Do we have time for some rapid fire questions from my inner circle?
Go for it. We have 4 minutes.
Okay. All right. Let's do that.
Beauty.
Do you still create most of your own content, and why or why not?
Yes, absolutely. It is one of the last things that I am ever going to let go of. Number one, it pushes me. Number two, it keeps my finger on the pulse of what's working, what's not, what's outdated, what's coming up. And number three, I don't know that I want to release that quickly. And it's fine if people do, but mostly because I want to remind people like, this is what I can create. So you can create 1 video a day. Yeah. I still do it and I know it's possible and I know you get faster. So I love to lead by example in that area and I don't see it changing anytime soon.
Yes. Okay. What are your top 2 tips for entrepreneurs early in their business?
Number one, oh my gosh, I just thought of this last night. This was something where I was like, I wish I had known this sooner. Oh my gosh. Okay. So number one, you are going to roll your eyes every time you talk about mindset. Trust me on this one, right? Who here is like, yup. I think we both can raise our hand.
Give me all the mindset.
Yes. You can either work with your mindset and start working on it before you need it or reactively once it's too late and you've already blown a few big opportunities. Ask me how I know. Yeah. And actually I'll tie that back really fast because it is important. So years ago, I actually got in touch with one of the top literary agents in the nation. Chrissy remembers this. And he responded, he was like, I want your manuscript. And I was like, and I panicked because I hadn't been working on my mindset in that particular period. I think it was right after Dom was born and all the hormones, but I actually backed away completely from the opportunity. And for years, I kicked myself about it. So you can either work on your mindset preemptively, just like an oil change, or you can deal with the blown opportunities. So that's number one. And I'm sorry if people are annoyed by it, but I don't really care. And number two, listen to Chrissy and get visible now. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. The best time to get visible was 20 years ago. The second best time is to get visible literally as you listen to this right now. Like go binge Chrissy's videos and do exactly what she said. Cool? Okay.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. So we have a gift to give my audience. Do you want to tell them really quick what that is?
Yes, totally. So right around the time that I got the book deal, and in case anyone's wondering, I have not released anywhere what the actual monetary details of the book deal were, but I am just going to tell you it was really, really, really good. It was a dream book deal. It made my jaw drop. I cried when I got it. Still to this day, I recognize that it was huge. It was on the level of like a celebrity book deal. I share that so that this is more pre-framed appropriately. Mm-hmm. So all these people were asking me like, how did you get a book deal? How did you get a literary agent? How did you? And I was like, this is so not my expertise. And I was like, I can't sit and answer all of this and I don't want to build a business around it, but I can help people for free. Yeah. And so I wrote down 11 things you need to know before you get a book deal. And I laid it all out. It is 6 pages of pure value, no offer. I don't even think there's a pitch. I don't think there's anything in here. There's not even an opt-in. It's just literally a PDF uploaded to my Google Drive. So enjoy.
Thank you. My audience is going to love this. They're totally going to love this. So if my audience wants to connect with you more or find out more about you or follow you on TikTok, how can they connect with you?
Ooh, easiest place to find me is on my website. That's not appropriate. Don't call me ever. Just kidding. I don't answer phone calls ever. Why is the do not
That was not a
disturb
sign
off?
to look up her phone number, by the
Yeah. Yeah, don't call me. I like never answer phone calls from anybody. So the best place to find me is on my website, rachelpederson.com. That's all E's and a D in my last name. And I've got a bunch of free resources there for you.
Right. I appreciate you so much. Is there anything else you want to leave my audience with? One last thing.
Yes, go binge all of Chrissy's content and then take action. She's rolling her eyes, but I actually mean it. If you've been listening for a while, let this podcast, this episode be your sign that it's time to start implementing and taking action. Because the truth is, you can either take action now or spend the next 3 years and watching everyone else who takes action grow, or you can recognize that Chrissy's literally giving you the steps to take action, get visible, build your platform in real time and doing it. So stop this interview and go and produce.
I appreciate you so much. I love you.
Love you
are an
too.
amazing human being. I think I cannot imagine my life without you in it. So thank you so much for coming on and sharing with my audience. And I appreciate you more than you know.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.